Today, I am coming face to face with a killer. With 112 deaths a year, and the numbers are on the rise.
If you're like thousands of Australians, coming into contact with this is enough to send you into anaphylactic shock, where rashes occur, itchiness, the throat swells, blocking your airways, and potentially could be fatal. 2 generations ago, EpiPens were unheard of, and taking peanut butter to school wouldn't start a debate between parents. Now 1 in 50 children have a peanut allergy. However, death from anaphylaxis is relatively rare. Researchers have examined hospital admission rates between the years 1997 to 2013 to see if anaphylaxis admissions has increased over the years. The study showed that hospital admission rates for food-related anaphylaxis increased by 10% per year. So, allergic reactions are happening more often, and scientists are struggling to find out why. But I found that the reason isn't microscopic, but in fact lies on an error in the system. Turns out the hospital doesn't have communications with the food industry, so when someone gets treated for an allergic reaction, there is no further investigation. This means that if there was a mistake within the product, the company would not know about it, meaning that they cannot solve the issue. So this will eventually lead to more product recalls, more hospital administrations, and more reactions. With that, goodbye money. Allergies are linked to what microbes you're exposed to while young, and changes in the immune system can bring out an allergy later in life. These changes can be from moving to a different country where your body has to adapt to a new environment. With no current cure for food allergy, your only way to manage it is to stay away from the food, keep the EpiPen close, and hope that people who offer you food take your problem seriously.
For now, it is up to food labels to prevent allergy reactions and know exactly what we put into our bodies. And scientists constantly are working hard to make sure that these labels are clear and remain accurate. So, while the touch of a walnut is enough to turn a good day into a bad one, most people are unaware of the real threat of the grocery store. Yep, according to Anaphylaxis Australia, dairy is the #1 cause of allergy-related deaths. Even though allergies don't have any influence on the quality of life, and any problems can be easily avoided with plenty of alternatives around to make sure that you aren't missing out.
Then why are dairy products becoming more and more of a concern? And how has nobody ever heard of it before?
Lactose intolerance is sometimes mistaken for dairy allergies, which are not the same thing. Lactose intolerance actually occurs from the body not having an enzyme that can break down those lactose molecules. True dairy allergies start from the proteins casein and whey, which amount from the majority of proteins within milk. These proteins are also heat resistant, so boiling milk cannot help in most cases.
Since most people buy their own food, the only way to know is to trust the labels on the back of the product, which by law have to state every ingredient present in descending order with the percentage that it takes up within the food. With so many allergy-related deaths a year, how much should these labels be trusted and relied on? How accurate are they?
Talia, eat a Snickers.
Why?
It's not you when you're hungry.
No thanks.
While a label like this shows clearly to someone with allergy what it contains, many labels are greatly inaccurate, and especially to someone who has allergies, this is concerning.
Let's start with my favourite phrase. May contain.
Now, this is usually used as a way to avoid a court case, but what does this mean to someone with allergies? If I avoided everything that may contain an ingredient, I wouldn't be eating very much at all, so it makes sense as to why these warnings are ignored. Other companies label products as nut-free when considering that the amount of proteins in parts per million are not enough to cause a reaction. This is a poor system, as anyone with the allergy has a different exposure resistance, which makes it even more inaccurate when it's only considered with serving sizes. So all you had to do was increase the number of proteins in the body and suddenly it's a reaction. Besides, who only eats just one Tim Tam? It gets even more complicated with traces of dairy. For example, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is known for being an alternative for people who are lactose intolerant or have a dairy allergy. As you can see, most dark chocolates claim to state so. In fact, recent testing conducted by ELISA Systems showed that every single dark chocolate contained milk, despite what the label said.
This is actually frightening. Labels are proving to be not accurate and misleading. For someone with allergies, they will have a hard time trying to trust these products. It's just not being discussed and people aren't simply educated about it.
Another example of this label issue is peanut oil. It is often used in cooking and has been proved to be safe for people with allergies, but many people are still debating on whether or not it should be labelled as nut-free because traces of the protein have come back positive. The allergy risk of this product came out to be being extremely low. Those words are not ideal for helping someone decide if they should buy the product. The risk of a reaction is still present, and this is not good enough. So, how does this affect a company? Sometimes, when an error has occurred during the production of an item, a product recall takes place. This is when every single product, wherever it's been sent to, must be returned to the company. This can sometimes cost them millions and millions of dollars. If these label issues remain a problem, well, it would be bad news for the companies. Obviously, there is a mistake somewhere in the system. Along the line is a fault which only is a threat to people and businesses. So, what can we do?
To start with, labels should have stricter rules to follow and should give a customer a straight yes or no answer if the product contains the allergy. And if yes, how much exactly is in the product. No more may contain.
A good example of this, when stating packed in the environment of, it is super specific, saying that it isn't a present ingredient, but it has been in the same area of where it's packed. For someone who is extremely sensitive, seeing this information can help determine if the product is safe for them instead of may contain, which provides only a vague and unsure guess.
Companies should also test for their ingredients more often, which is easily possible from places like ELISA Systems, which specialise in creating these testing equipment. And they're extremely accurate and very, very helpful to getting the exact numbers you need. And I propose that hospitals communicated with the food industry. That way that if there's a mistake in the system, it can be fixed and prevented in case it happens again.
It really is that simple to make food safer for society. If taking all these things into consideration, it would be so much easier to control allergies and lower the numbers. That way, the focus can be shifted to perhaps finding a cure for them. Anyway, thank you for spending some time with me. I'll see you again.